late books is causing problems. Bottom line,
Okay.
late books are causing problems. Not to you, not to this guy who's calling me not to some people, but to the average normie. I got guys at work that I work with, and I'm trying to sell my comic book. They're like, you want me to give you $10 now, and 5 months from now, you may give me a comic book? Get the fuck out of here. Normal people don't trust crowdfunding. We, as crowdfunders, should be 10 times harsher on late campaigns.
This is John's Longbox, a YouTube comic book guy who interviews and promotes comic book creators and often engages in discussions about comics, its history, and characters. So why is Comicsgate targeting this one person? What is the history of CG's predatory operation with him? It all stems from the very thing John's Longbox did that most within CG do not do: give negative reviews of books put out by the top guys. You see, John Malin, the writer and artist of Godlike, a floppy disguised as a graphic novel, didn't take kindly to anyone issuing any type of negative feedback on his book. Absolutely none.
People talk about the information dump at the front. I'm not making any apologies for that. I think for me and for this book, it's a little bit about like, I don't know, when you read a book, like an actual book, the front narrative is heavy, and I'm not gonna apologize for that.
In my documentary, When the Culture War Hit Those Pretty Pictures, I showed the sequence of events from when Malin and Ethan Van Sciver targeted a YouTube channel named Danger Vanessa, simply because she did not give Malin's Godlike a nomination for the Book of the Year in her fan awards show, the Nobody Gives a Damn Awards. The bickering and whiny female aggression Malin showed towards Vanessa, among other women he has shown similar aggression to, like Irene Strakowski, as well as Ethan Van Sciver maliciously sabotaging her show, led to Vanessa leaving YouTube and X. It became clear to anyone that Malin was going to punish any kind of negative feedback towards Godlike. But John's Longbox was going to stand firm on his convictions. Longbox called Godlike egregiously bad and unreadable, referring to the walls of text, heavy word dumps attributed to mainstream writer Brian Michael Bendis. Longbox was vocal about his displeasure of Godlike as far back as August of 2024. The negative review of the book caused Ethan Van Sciver to vocally shoot down the criticism.
He came out and reviewed John Malin's Godlike and called it the worst thing he ever read. And I was like, see, the thing about that is it makes me think that you're like trying to get attention from Matt Barr, because there's no universe in which, John Malin's Godlike is bad. I mean, the worst thing you ever read, that's ridiculous. Did you read Isom? But when it's like, when you're saying it's even bad, like that's not reality. That's a prejudice. That's a grudge. I'm just like, what is this? And it seemed to me like, yeah, like you're trying to get like the attention of the slums. But buddy, when you're talking to me, you're a long way away from that. Like I can't, like I'm not going to give oxygen to another Brian Kriskow. It. I'm not doing it. Another guy with a comic book who's just like angry about the fact that he can't do it on his own and resents having to come to me and begs me for my time. And then as soon as he's not getting enough anymore, his book doesn't fund or whatever it is, or he wants to hang out with these fucking guys, then suddenly, Ethan, man, I'm not doing it. Like, go yourselves. Like, seriously, I'm done with it. I'm absolutely done supporting these kind of like these sad sack losers. I'm just done with it.
Longbox had to clarify he didn't call Godlike the worst comic he ever read. His exact words were, it was the worst CG book he's ever read. Ethan Van Sciver responded by reminding him that he saw Longbox making a beeline for him at a party while he, Van Sciver, was drunk. He then called Longbox a lowlife, to which Longbox replied, "You just sat alone. No one wanted to talk with you." Ethan continued his offended reaction to Longbox's criticism of Godlike.
Just last week, I see a tweet from this guy who is saying John Malin's Godlike is like the worst comic I've read, or something like that. And I go, what? What? Like, even if that's how you felt, like, why are you posting that on Twitter? Like, what is the matter with you? Like, clearly, like, do you have something against John? The worst comic that you've read? the worst. You could say I didn't like it very much. Godlike is the worst, is it? Yeah. See, that's somebody who's innately hostile, and somebody who obviously we're going to keep at a distance from that point. And then he came back like today and he was just like, I just said it was the worst CG con. Listen, if Godlike is the worst Comicsgate comic you've ever read, you needed to be here in the early days like you claimed to be. It's just ridiculous. Godlike is awesome, says Marcus. Godlike is an amazing comic.
Ethan went as far as trying to police how anyone should offer criticism of his or his friends' books. Remember, this is the same Ethan who spent 2 years and counting with endless trash cast streams criticizing the littlest misstep Eric July makes, and even lectured Eric about receiving criticism from himself and others like Dick Juju the Cow Masterson. He said Eric July should have either accepted the criticism or ignore it, but neither Ethan nor his inner circle, including John Malin, accept negative criticism. As a matter of fact, as we have shown, they will cancel you off YouTube like they did Danger Vanessa, or in the case of John's Longbox, wish you actual violence. And this isn't EVS being hyperbolic. He's had a long history of wishing violence on his enemies.
But Eric, anytime you want to talk, anytime you want to explain your brilliant ideas about shipping comic books to somebody, I'm all ears. I'd love to have that conversation with you. Retarded, dude. Absolutely retarded. He deserves to get smacked down every time he says like that. People should come in there, smack him as hard. Smack him. As soon as he says stuff like that, you know, it should happen. Like, somebody needs to just step up, man. He shouldn't be able to get away with that.
The thing to understand about EVS is, once you're in his sight, he doesn't let go. He will quote tweet you to shame you to his followers and make any attempt to embarrass you, whether he's successful in doing so or not. John's Longbox became the picture of what happens when you critique Comicsgate. Soon the other creators in Ethan's circle followed in their trashing of Longbox.
Well, we got enough people hating on it.
I
still don't understand what's wrong with John Bagbox. Like, just what happened?
Oh, I can tell you what happened.
No, we had him on.
If you want an actual, you know,
we had him on. We sold his books. I mean, I don't know.
We both went on to his channel.
I did.
Yeah, I did too.
Cool.
I did too.
Then come to hate.
So two things happened, I guess, kind of simultaneously. But his book didn't make what he wanted it to make. And at the same time, Ethan didn't give him the attention that he wanted Ethan to give him.
God.
So it's Ethan's fault that his book didn't make it up. But the problem is he came on too strong and creeped Ethan the fuck out. And another thing I don't understand is these guys that are first-time creators. They come in and they're like, I'm going to make a book. But they expect, like Ethan and everybody else, to sell their book for them. I was here for 4 years, maybe 5, before I ever got on Ethan's channel.
Despite Longbox never having said a bad word about Mandy Summers, going as far as even praising her and Shane Davis, the host of the Baller Stream, didn't hesitate to bash John and even falsely claiming that Longbox was bitter over not making enough money on his crowdfund campaign. This was the go-to for the CG elitists who looked down on the other creators not in their circle. If they dare lay a negative tongue on any EVS-connected book, they were breadcrumbs who were bitter over not making money. Oh, and Mandy's claim that she was in CG 4 or 5 years before being on Ethan's channel is not true. She was promoting her first book, Wart the Wizard, in 2019, and debuted on Ethan's stream, watching a whole bunch of vintage Rainbow Bright commercials in July 13th of that year. At most, she may have been around for a year before she got the limelight, and this was before she put out any book. Even Katie did, putting aside the facade of coincidence, took it upon herself to single out Longbox's book and a particular page she felt she needed to tell the world that disturbed her.
And then when I saw that, I was like, holy shit. Oh my God. That is so sad. Like I don't even like looking at it. I'm just a softie, you know. I think us moms are just very soft on that. So I didn't like that. It wasn't like crazy. Now people could draw it in the most fucked up way possible, but still it was unnerving. And I get it that you're trying to make me very unnerved because it's like, oh God, so what's going on with this suit? And there's 666, like what the fuck is happening? You know, like holy shit, like who did that to that little girl? Who beat the fuck out of that little girl? Show it again. That's the picture he sees. That was in the guy's suit pants.
Now, something peculiar had happened. I did a video a week ago in which Richard C. Meyer took a screenshot of Nerdrotic and John's Longbox having a conversation on X about the John Wick spin-off movie, Ballerina, in which they talked about a specific character. Your boy Zach took the screenshot and painted the narrative that Longbox was either a cracker or a peckerwood who hated the Ballerina movie. He conveniently left out that Longbox gave the movie a positive review. When you get a chance, check out that video for further context. But at the time of the video, I didn't make the connection. Why would Richard C. Meyer single out John's Longbox of all people? It then hit me that your boy Zach probably got his marching orders behind the scenes. When I came to that realization, I was fully convinced there was a coordinated campaign to destroy the reputation of John's Longbox. Remember, Ethan had stated that he is King Bully with a large YouTube channel that can destroy a person. When Longbox typed the reply to Meyer's post, Richard deleted the comment. He also eventually deleted the post, hoping that it would be erased from memory. Nice try, Zach. John's Longbox represented the type of firm dissent that frightens Ethan, Malin, Mandy, and the rest of them. Longbox's reputation had been solid, so the pushback by the so-called kings against him opened up the eyes of a lot of longtime CG members as well as those outside who had already seen this playbook. The narrative was clear. If you have any negative opinions of CG or its books, keep it to yourself.
Now, John Longbox has just been speaking out again about his disdain for Comicsgate, and
what
I
I
recently
don't get
had him
is
on my show.
if there's people who have issues with what's going on or any individual stuff in Comicsgate, I never understood the actually like taking it to the internet bullshit. The right reaction if you have an issue with any group like that is to either just move on or to address it with those people. And none of these people actually do that. They take the like sneak dissing route and go on live streams, or they go on like Twitter and do that stuff. It's like, man, just like, I don't know. Like, I think it's all better if people just like talk to each other or then just move on. Like, if you have an issue and it's not gonna get solved, then why are you even dealing with it? Sometimes it seems so like it just doesn't need to happen,
But there is no leaving quietly. Even Doug TeNaples showed this back in 2019 when he tried to quietly leave CG. EVS wouldn't let him and publicly made him an example because TeNaples wouldn't give thanks to Comicsgate at the San Diego Comic-Con panel in that year. And recently, comic book writer Richard Embry became the latest to defect, and it was only public because Katie made the details public on her live stream. But that's a story for another day. Thank you for tuning in, and if you like this video, well, you know what to do. But please leave a comment and let me know what you think. Thank you and take care.